Hi everyone, welcome back to English Story Master, the history of Guliga Daiva. This is not a story, this is a belief and a good practice. Believed in by the God of the people of the Mangalore region and by all the religious people of the Mangalore region. Long, long ago, when the universe was still young, gods and goddesses watched over creation. Among them was Lord Shiva, the destroyer, full of immense energy and power. One day, when anger and fire rose within him, something unusual happened. From the ashes of his fury, a strange being was born. This being was dark, fierce and untamed. His eyes shone like burning coals, and his voice thundered like stormy skies. He was not human, nor fully God, but something in between. This was Guliga, the spirit who carried both terror and divinity. From the very beginning, Guliga was restless. He roamed the forests, the mountains, and even the graveyards. No man or beast dared to stop him. The wild animals bowed before him, and the spirits followed him in fear. But Guliga had no purpose. He wandered aimlessly, with strength that no one could control. The gods worried about this strange creation. If this power is left free, they said, the balance of the world will be broken. So they decided to give Guliga a task. They made him a guardian, a protector of truth, justice, and righteousness. From that day, Guliga became the spirit who stood against lies. If someone cheated or broke promises, Guliga would appear. If someone was greedy or unjust, Guliga would punish them. People began to respect and fear his presence. They realized he was not just wild energy, but a force of justice. In the Mangalore region, the land between the Western Ghats and the sea, his name spread. Villagers built shrines and offered prayers to him. But Guliga did not live in temples. He lived among the forests, the fields, and the simple people. He came when they called him in their rituals, and he spoke through the sacred performance called Bootha Kola. In the Bootha Kola, a man would take the form of Guliga. With sacred makeup, fiery dance, and powerful words, Guliga's spirit entered the body. He would speak not as a man, but as Guliga himself. The people bowed before him with folded hands. They told him their problems, their disputes, and their prayers. Guliga listened with sharp eyes and fierce attention. If someone had cheated another, Guliga would roar in anger. If someone had spoken truth and suffered, Guliga would bless them. Thus, Guliga became the judge of the people. He was feared, yet deeply loved, because though he looked fierce, his heart stood only for justice. Even kings and landlords respected him. No one could lie before Guliga. His words were final, and his justice was swift. To this day, in the Mangalore region, Guliga Daiva is remembered. He is fierce like fire, but pure like truth. Many years passed, and Guliga's name spread across the villages of the Mangalore region. He was no longer just a wandering spirit, but a guardian who people trusted. Whenever disputes arose between families, Guliga was called. Whenever justice was hidden, Guliga uncovered it. One story is often told about Guliga's justice. There was once a greedy landlord in a coastal village. He collected heavy taxes from the poor farmers, but he never paid them fairly for their harvest. The farmers suffered, but they were afraid to speak against him. One day, they gathered under a banyan tree. An old man said, "Let us call Guliga. He will hear us." So they prepared for a Bootha Kola. Torches were lit, drums began to beat, and the dancer entered in Guliga's form. The air grew heavy, and people trembled with both fear and respect. Suddenly, Guliga's voice thundered through the dancer. "Why do you call me children of the land?" The farmers fell to the ground and cried, "Lord, we are cheated by the landlord." Guliga's eyes blazed, and he asked, "Is this true?" The landlord stepped forward, trembling, but tried to deny it. "No, Guliga," he said, "I have done nothing wrong." But Guliga's voice roared, "Do not lie before me. Truth cannot be hidden from my eyes." The drums grew louder, and the villagers waited in silence. Guliga turned to the landlord and said, "Your greed has stolen food from the mouths of the poor. You have broken the balance of Dharma. For this, you shall face my judgment." The landlord fell to the ground, begging for forgiveness. But Guliga's justice was clear and sharp. He ordered the landlord to return the grains and wealth to the farmers. He warned him that if he ever cheated again, his house would fall into ruin. Terrified, the landlord obeyed. From that day on, the farmers were freed from his cruelty, and the villagers knew no injustice could survive in Guliga's presence. Time went on, and Guliga's worship grew stronger. Every year, during the sacred nights, Bootha Kola was held in his honor. Men prepared by fasting and keeping themselves pure. The costumes, painted faces, and iron ornaments turned them into living forms of Guliga. When the spirit entered, the dancer spoke with power beyond human voice. He solved quarrels, blessed children, and gave guidance to the people. But Guliga was not only about punishment. He also gave blessings to those who lived with honesty. A widow once came before him with her 2 small children. Her husband had died, and she had no support. She cried, "Guliga, I have no food to feed my children. What shall I do?" Guliga listened, and his fierce eyes softened. He blessed her, saying, "From today, no one in this village shall refuse you help." The villagers, out of fear and respect, cared for her and her children. Thus, Guliga became both protector and provider. He was like fire, dangerous if misused, but life-giving when respected. Even today, people believe that if you live truthfully, Guliga's blessings will guard you. But if you cheat, lie, or harm others, his anger will find you. And when Guliga's anger comes, no one can escape. As time passed, Guliga's presence became part of the rhythm of village life. Farmers called upon him before planting their seeds. Fishermen prayed to him before entering the sea. Women offered flowers and oil lamps, asking for protection for their families. Children grew up hearing his stories, half in fear and half in admiration. Because Guliga was not just a spirit, he was a living force of justice. One evening, during a Bootha Kola, something unusual happened. The sky grew dark, and the wind howled through the coconut trees. The people whispered, "Guliga is angry tonight." When the dancer entered the courtyard, his steps were louder and his voice was fiercer. He shouted, "I smell falsehood in this land." The villagers looked around in fear, not knowing who he meant. Then Guliga pointed to two brothers standing in the crowd. "Why have you cheated your own blood?" he thundered. The elder brother fell silent while the younger brother began to cry. The truth came out: the elder brother had stolen land that rightfully belonged to his sibling. The villagers gasped, because land was sacred, passed down from ancestors. Guliga raised his sword and roared, "Land is not to be taken with lies. Dharma must return to its place." The elder brother, shaking, promised to give back the land. Only then did Guliga calm down. He warned, "Remember, my children, no family will prosper when built on dishonesty." Over centuries, stories like these shaped the identity of the Mangalore region. Guliga Daiva became a protector not only of people, but also of nature. Farmers believed that if they respected the earth, Guliga would bless their harvest. Fishermen believed that if they prayed truthfully, Guliga would calm the sea. But those who exploited nature without gratitude invited his wrath. In this way, Guliga taught that humans and nature are bound together. Even today, when night falls and the drums of Bootha Kola echo through the villages, people feel Guliga's presence. They light lamps, place offerings of rice, toddy, and flowers, and wait for him to arrive. When the dancer enters the sacred space, everyone bows their heads. They know they are not just watching a performance, they are standing before Guliga himself. The spirit speaks through the dancer, and people listen with trembling respect. Some receive blessings, others face warnings, but all leave with faith renewed. And so the story of Guliga Daiva continues, generation after generation. A story of fire and truth. A story of fear and justice. A story that teaches one timeless lesson. No matter how strong lies may seem, truth will always return. And no matter how high injustice rises, justice will always stand taller. That is the legacy of Guliga Daiva, the fierce guardian of the Mangalore region. People who know a lot about Bootha Kola still oppose filming it and making a movie about it. Respect this culture and make the next generation aware of it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.